So Law and Kid, who have been fighting Big Mom, awakened their abilities, but they can only use them as their last resort. So yes, that is correct. They are straight up doing their devil fruit awakening in this chapter. So we got the 10:30 spoilers, and this is a really significant chapter. I mean, like a really significant one. This is taking us to the next level of the series, and there's a lot to talk about in this one, so let's get into it. Title of the chapter is Echoes, the Impermanence of All Things. If you want to do a fun little deep dive into Oda's mind and what he could be planning, give that a Google. Apu and Drake discuss about to create an alliance. They are with numbers 1, 2, and 3. So that's interesting. Not that Apu and Drake are going to discuss an alliance, because I expected Apu to rejoin the alliance, or should I say rejoin an alliance. The alliance, because he is a supernova after all, and as I always say, I expect all of them to come together in the final arc, because that's kind of how it's been set up. And even Hawkins, despite him being defeated. But also, since they're having a little conversation here, it could mean that things might have died down in the dome where like all the chaos was happening, since King and Queen are fighting Zoro and Sanji, and they're singled out. And also the infantry numbers are starting to sway in their favor, right? Progressively, like it's projected to favor them. So that could mean that things are maybe calming down a little bit, but also probably not, because plenty of times characters in the midst of battle just have time to just have a conversation, so why not? But the interesting thing that I was talking about is that they're with numbers 1, 2, and 3, who I don't think we've seen yet. I think we've seen like all of them besides the top 3 here. Also, it's saying that they are with them. So I guess this might mean that they're joining the alliance too, because Apu was like able to control them with his devil fruit music. So I guess he's doing that to the top 3 here, and they're going to help them go against the Beast Pirates. That would be really cool and unexpected. Orochi orders Kanjuro to end everything in Onigashima's castle. Kanjuro creates a giant fire demon. So I feel like it's Star Wars at this point. Somehow Kanjuro returns. So yeah, he's back yet again. And I think Oda might be doing like the rule of 3s here with both Orochi and Kanjuro, because I think they both had 2 false deaths coming into this. And to be honest, I expected them to be such, because Oda has built up these characters to be such scumbags that there's no way they wouldn't get some grand ceremonious comeuppance. It would be very un-Oda-like in my opinion, but turns out that Oda is doing exactly as he does, because they're getting not 1 comeuppance, but 3 here, because I assume the next one is going to be the last one. Either it's them straight up dying or just being in prison, and I really wouldn't be surprised if the latter happens at this point. But also, now that they're back, that means that somebody has to defeat them. Somebody has to give them their comeuppance, and who's that going to be? Well, I'm assuming the Scabbards, right? I mean, I don't think they're dead, or at least I certainly hope not, especially now that Kanjuro and Orochi are back again. At least give the Scabbards their false deaths to come back and to finish them off or something. Let them have their finality here. Like, I don't think all of the Scabbards are going to survive, like, once this arc is wrapped up, but I do think some of them are. Probably Kinemon. I have a feeling he's gonna live for some reason. Maybe because he's been with us since Punk Hazard, I guess. I don't know. But also, if they do come back, which I think they are, this is going to be for sure the final encounter, because Kanjuro creates a fire demon. I'm assuming that's like his ultimate thing to do. So that's what they're going to be fighting against, I guess, or at least partly. And then Orochi can turn into at least 1 dragon, so he's got that. But now we're coming to the massive part of this chapter, the game-changing part of this chapter. So Law and Kid, who have been fighting Big Mom, awakened their abilities, but they can only use them as their last resort. So yes, that is correct. They are straight up doing their devil fruit awakening in this chapter. Law can attack Big Mom from inside her body, and Kid turns Big Mom into a giant magnet. No break next week. Okay, that's huge. So let me try to wrap my mind around this, because I've been struggling with that since I've read this. So first of all, I did not expect this to happen so soon, because I thought if anybody was going to do a devil fruit awakening that hasn't done it yet, get that is a good guy, it was going to be Luffy. So unexpected here for sure. And also I think that confirms that we are going to see Luffy's Devil Fruit Awakening against Kaido, because, you know, if Law and Kid are getting it here, fairly sure that is a precursor to Luffy getting it, and maybe even soon. But also, this is the first time that we're seeing an awakening outside of Katakuri and Doflamingo, who essentially were doing the same thing. They were like turning the environment into what their Devil Fruit was. And that made it difficult to imagine what other Devil Fruit Awakenings could be. And these two are perfect examples, because you can't really apply their awakenings or their theorized awakenings to the same way that Katakuri and Doflamingo's were. It'd be easier to imagine what Kid's would be, I guess, especially since we found out what it is with Big Mom, but Law's could be anything, really. So it's nice to see that they just kind of get a crazy augmentation to their ability that is related to it. And like I said, this is taking us to the next level of the series, because we're going to start seeing new abilities that we haven't seen before, and really powerful ones. And this is going to give Oda freedom to start using, you know, creative abilities that he's probably been sitting on for the last, you know, 2 years or 3 years or something. But what I'm thinking is that what we're seeing with Law and Kid here is just the beginning. So Law being able to attack Big Mom from inside her body is continuing the whole operating room theme, which is awesome. But does that also mean that he can just like, you know, like shamble her heart out or any other vital organ? I don't see why not, but I don't think they'll do that. And also there's always the excuse that Big Mom's haki is just too powerful, which it always has been, so Devil Fruit abilities can only go so far on her, or just anyone in general when their haki is too powerful. Or at least that's the implication in the series, right? But I'm sure he's going to do like counter shock and gamma knife and stuff like that inside of her, which, you know, knowing Big Mom, it'll probably only hurt her a little bit, maybe, I don't know. But we are coming towards the end of this arc here, or at least the end of this significant battle, so it might do some major damage to her possibly. But Kid seems to be way more significant, at least right now, because he's turning her into a magnet. And the possibilities are so much fun with this one, because now that she's a magnet, she's going to attract the metal, obviously. But once she does, then she just becomes an object for him to control. So she could, in theory, become like a giant ball of scrap or weapons or whatever. And speaking of weapons, I was thinking, like, you know, what on the island could he use to have like this big move against Big Mom, or this big finale against her? And there was like, oh, Yamato is getting those bombs and stuff from Onigashima, or she's deactivating them, or just getting rid of them, or just whatever. The bombs are coming out, I'm pretty sure. So it's possible that like all of the bombs get attracted to Big Mom, and then Kid like throws her into the sky or something, and then the bombs like just explode all on her. I doubt it would kill her, but it'll probably KO her, right? But if it's not bombs, maybe it's like weapons and stuff like that, and then he makes her into like a weapon ball or something and throws her into the sea. I for sure see something like that happening possibly, or maybe the sword on Onigashima comes into play. But I digress. I could speculate about this for another 20 minutes, but let me know what you think about this in the comments. What do you think Kid and Law are going to do with their new awakenings against Big Mom? And do you think that they're actually going to defeat her at some point? Let me know. And if you like the video, guys, please give a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.